This episode is brought to you by the RVA Podcast Network. Find more information at rvapodcast.org.
Going back to how it all started, before the Blue Yeti was popping and before recording was such a big deal, the main thing I was about was just recording and uploading. The way that was done was thanks to a mic that really got me comfortable and willing to record on a whole different level. That mic is a Samson Meteor. This is a confession podcast. It's not going to be very long-winded. It's not going to be anything extreme. But I wanted to get this recording because, transparently and bluntly speaking, I didn't have anything recorded. And I'm going to give a backstory without giving too much information, but still giving you all what happened. I'm not going to do this as an Instagram live. I don't even have my phone set up to do it. I'm just going to record and let this be what it is. Yesterday afternoon, I was set up to do a show, and I had a very good line of plan into the show, answering questions, having dialogue, and just kind of flowing with the conversation. The problem is my microphone didn't agree with me doing that. And I'm okay with that. I got most of the early part of the recording completed, but the actual part that I needed really to stand out and stick didn't stick. So I lost, we'll say for the sake of discussion, about 50 minutes worth of content. When it happened, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I was going to just disable everything and pack it up and be done. Because I'm not going to, I know for a fact personally, I don't have any intentions of pod fading. People have said it to me and I've appreciated the compliment. I have a voice for podcasting. I've always tried to find that way of being very vocal and presentable with what I do. And this has been that platform that has gotten me off of that hump. So, as most people would expect, I went back to my roots. Literally back to my roots. Many people who have probably been listening to the show know about the Blue Yeti. Blue Yeti's babe, Blue Yeti is life. Well, my Yeti has had a couple of complications. I'm not sure if it'll be back up. I don't really have a press or push if it does or does not. I have a down the pike plan that I'm going to possibly work on at some point. With that being said, the recordings are going to be a little different, but the recordings are going to still be about the listeners. It's not about me. And I didn't know or realize the extent of that until this happened. I was more worried and frustrated and unsure of what I was going to do than just taking time to realize that it's not the end of the world. And it's not me being mild about it or nonchalant. It's just a microphone. It's not my life. It's not my friends' lives. It's not any material possessions other than a microphone. If you lose one, you get another one. You get it when you can and if the opportunity is available. And that's what I did. So I'm moving forward by going backwards, but for a good purpose. And you're going to hear me a lot more, I won't say intimate, but more true podcast style. And I've always known that this is what's going to work for keeping it simple without stressing. And this is just what I'm meant to do. So the show, everything that I talked about, I'm not going to go back and reread everything. I am going to still keep my picks and I'm going to update them according to what I had at that time. And that's just it. I was indifferent on whether I even wanted to upload that audio because of how bad it was, but that would be a poor representation of who I am and of the brand known as the Past BT. How much my podcast has evolved will make this even more, will put this even how much this has evolved will put it even more into perspective of why this is kind of important. When I first used this microphone, when I had the previous one that I had before, my podcast was Brate Podcast. When I got the Yeti, I was in transition of what I wanted my name to be, what I wanted my brand to be, what I wanted it to be about. So we went from Brate Podcast to Past Podcast. Now, with me using this microphone, and it's a coincidence because I had just changed my social media probably a couple of weeks ago, it's now the past. So we're passing it back to where it all began. And that's just how it comes full circle. So not going to give y'all any outrageous extracurriculars. I'm not even, as a matter of fact, I mean, y'all probably done got to this point. There won't be an intro. There won't be an outro. I will put the RVA Network promo at the beginning for the sake of that promo portion. But this is just going to be raw editing and raw recording. I will be pushing to see if I want to get back. Like, I want to do a new intro and a new outro. We'll work on that as time progresses. But I wanted to at least get on the mic and address what went on and where we are with the show. So if you made it through this 6 minutes, you are appreciated, and just be prepared. I was initially hinting at on the last show. I do have a guest coming on next Wednesday. I'm excited for that, and we're just going to kind of rock with it and go from there. So that is all I have. Thanks for being listeners. Thanks for being supporters, and just continue with whatever it is that you do.